Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weekends. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart.
This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The Godwell told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash deep, everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar Cost told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. What's good, y'all? Happy Thursday to all. It's gonna be another good one today. I hope you guys have been keeping track of how much everything has kind of slowed down. What's happening, at least from my perspective, what seems to be happening right now is a transition of some sort into some next level fuckery, because everything they've been doing just hasn't been working. A lot of information has been coming out that's just specifically against whatever they're trying to do. And that's really important to understand, right? Because every day that they essentially fail at causing chaos is a day where we win, right? And here's the thing. They need to maintain momentum. That's very important to understand. Because if you don't maintain the momentum, or I'm sorry, not you, they, then, you know, it's like electricity. Energy is like electricity. It has to keep going. If not, it just dies off. So that's basically what's going on. And that's why this stuff is important. This is why keeping track of what's going on is important. Seeing the past versus the present is important. You know, how do you ascertain a lie from truth? You know, it has to be it has to be looked at through relativity, through the lens of relativity, because you don't have an integral basis on anybody. You know, you don't know anybody that's giving you information. The only thing you have is the information that you're being given. So that means that the only thing you can do is compare data, i.e. information. And that's the right way to really go about it. There's a reason, and the first video is going to highlight this. There's a reason why they want you to think that they have the monopoly on information. Because if they have the monopoly on information, well, there's no questioning anything that they produce. And that's why it's important to understand that they're really the purveyors of master manipulation, right? I mean, Edward Bernays, etc., etc. These are all things that are being exposed now, but they've been in the background, forever. Not even new. So those are just things to keep in mind. I mean, I don't know how many new things you guys might be learning every day from watching all these clips. But the idea is that you follow up, on the information and see where it leads you. Because we don't see everything the same. Even if we want to, we can't. We might be able to cross-check certain anecdotes and what have you. But, I mean, that's pretty much where it ends. This war that we're fighting is serious. And it's serious because it really does require everybody's input, realization, partnership. I mean, you name it, it does require everybody, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's just what's true. And this is what we have to really maintain at the forefront of our minds. Because what if Leave the World Behind becomes reality? What then? I mean, you're left to your own devices, own circle, own everything. There is no salvation. There's nobody coming to save you. So what do you do then? I mean, what's your plan? Do you even have one? I mean, at that point, no plan is a good plan, because whatever you thought you were going to do, you're not going to be able to do. And that's just the reality of life. War, blah, 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 blah. The only constant is change. Right? And that's why we watch all these ridiculous videos, to see what's actually going on in the world, because a lot is going on. And if you're not looking, you will miss it. And I mean, the set of videos I got tonight, man, it's just wild. It's just wild. And we're here. We're here. I know you guys heard of what happened in New York City. With the supposed, I mean, if you ask me, that's a false flag. The supposed illegals beating up on cops and getting away with it. Like, really? Yeah, okay. Highly doubt that one. Because if that's the case, then it's a free fall. For real. And if you're in New York, you better be strapped with whatever you want to be strapped with. Because if it's free game to beat up on cops, then everybody's free game. That's a reality right there. So what you gonna do? We're being attacked on all fronts. It's important to stay focused, because it's about to be game time. Hold on, what is this? Yeah. Apparently a big power outage in Indiana seems to be pretty important. Whiting, Indiana. And there's like fires erupting from this refinery. So let's tune into that, because that's really the latest, and then we'll go into everything else. Yeah, just because this is really right now. And we don't know what's gonna come of this, but it seems like it's just more eco side on the behalf of the eco warriors. That's what it seems like to me. So let's tune in.
But they haven't said anything about our homes. That's great. Look at this. All the factory evacuated. But they haven't said anything about our homes. That's great. British Petroleum, BP, Guayana Refinery, Clean Energy Company.
Yeah, BP is about to blow the fuck up. Go Greta. Go Greta. Look at that shit.
No.
It looks like the power outages isn't allowing them to shut off whatever's going on. So crazy. But let's look into the latest ruse.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Good morning. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
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 Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Good morning.
You know what that means, right? Should be pretty obvious. Now, if you're one of those that loves to donate blood, let me enlighten you. Should probably stop.
Que c'est quand même quelque chose de beau de pouvoir donner quelque chose, en tout cas qui est une partie de soi-même.
Blood is a quite peculiar juice, said Faust's devil with glee, but he's not the only one to be interested. Health is also an industry, and blood donations are subject to the laws of the market.
Well, what's your cut, blood donor? Their plan was to quench the light, but now I even shine much brighter for the world to see.
An Italian man said to me, no, Barbara. What we say in Italy, when God closes one door, he'll open two. And I'm sure we can all see that in our lives. When God closes a door, he often opens two. So when God closes a door in your life, me being banned in Australia was a closed door. That was very hard to take, especially when you've done nothing wrong. I say, how can there be a crime when there is no victim? That was hard. I allowed myself 15 minutes grieving. I sobbed. My whole life work stopped. I can no longer do it. Stopped. And then I dried my eyes and I said to Father in heaven, thank you for closing the door, because I know you've got something else for me. And he has. And he has. And I am here in the US today because God has opened other doors. When God closes a door in your life, thank him. It says in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. You don't have to like it, just thank him. Say, thank you, Father. I don't like it, I don't understand it, but I trust you. That's trust in divine power. I trust you that out of this, I'm going to learn something. Out of this, I'm going to be a better person. Trust him. There's no one better on the planet that you can trust than our Savior. The table salt on the supermarket shelf is actually a dangerous salt. We need to be taking salt into our body the way it's found in nature, with all the other minerals. Celtic salt and Himalayan salt contain 82 minerals. So Celtic salt, and you can usually buy it at the health food shop, 82 minerals. Where are the other 10? They're in such pico proportion that's barely measurable that it's inevitable that some are lost in the evaporation process. But hey, 82 is pretty close to 92, isn't it? And that Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It has magnesium bromide. It contains magnesium sulfate and magnesium chloride. Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and that's why that salt is usually quite moist. Now let's go to the CBD and have a look at what happens here. This is the cell. Now the cell has a bilayered membrane around it. And the way to get water into the cell is by taking magnesium. So when you take a crystal of Celtic salt on your tongue, already your mucous membranes are absorbing the minerals into the blood. The blood takes that magnesium to the cell. You drink your water, and that magnesium pulls the water inside the cell. It's a water-hungry molecule. That's the quickest way to hydrate the human body, is to put that crystal of Celtic salt on your tongue, do a little chomp, and then drink it down. Many people are sick because they're dehydrated, and yet some of them are drinking a lot of water. And the water's going straight through. The water is not getting inside the cell. That's why the best way to have your water, and beside my bed, I have a little bit of that Celtic salt. I wake up, I have the Celtic salt. I have half a glass of water. As I said, I get out of bed, I have another glass of water. Best way for your body to utilize that water is to have little by little, by little, by little, by little. And at the beginning of every one of your 8 glasses, have that Celtic salt.
So again, the idea is to expand horizons. Expand them. Just like this guy is going to expand your horizon right now.
Et nous revenons avec l'actualité du Covid-19 et nous sommes avec le professeur Luc Montagnier. Bonjour. Bonjour. Et merci d'être avec nous. Faut-il le rappeler, vous êtes prix Nobel de médecine et c'est vous qui êtes à l'origine de la découverte du VIH.
C'est une longue histoire, mais intéressante aussi pour...
Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to start it from the top. I didn't realize it was covered when I started playing it. You got to read the subtitles on this one.
Et nous revenons avec l'actualité du Covid-19 et nous sommes avec le professeur Luc Montagnier. Bonjour. Bonjour. Et merci d'être avec nous. Faut-il le rappeler, vous êtes prix Nobel de médecine et c'est vous qui êtes à l'origine de la découverte du VIH.
C'est une longue histoire, mais intéressante aussi pour l'actualité parce que on a une expérience de choses qui se sont passées, qui ont été très difficiles à contrôler là-bas à ce moment-là. Et ce qui a permis de trouver la vérité, c'est comme aujourd'hui.
Alors, ce qui m'intéresse ce matin, c'est que vous travaillez en ce moment sur le virus.
Je travaille, mais pas forcément au labo, puisque on travaille sur ordinateur avec un collègue, et puis c'est tout. On n'a pas d'expérience, on peut dire, mais l'expérience vient de la maladie elle-même, de toutes les mesures qui sont faites actuellement dans les laboratoires sur les patients.
Et vous êtes arrivé à certaines conclusions.
Alors, nous sommes arrivés à la conclusion qu'effectivement, il y avait eu une manipulation au sujet de ce virus.
C'est-à-dire?
Eh bien, qu'une partie, je ne dis pas le total, n'est-ce pas, mais il y a un modèle qui est évidemment le virus classique. Et là, c'était un modèle surtout venant de la chauve-souris. Mais à ce modèle, on a par-dessus ajouté des séquences, notamment du VIH, le virus du sida.
Mais quand vous dites « on a ajouté », qui a ajouté?
Moi, je ne sais pas.
Et c'est pas naturel, c'est ce que vous voulez dire?
Non, ce n'est pas naturel. C'était un travail de professionnel, un travail de biologiste moléculaire. C'est un travail très minutieux. on peut dire, d'horloger, on peut dire, au niveau des séquences.
Mais dans quel but?
Dans quel but, ça, ce n'est pas clair. Moi, j'expose, si vous voulez, mon travail, c'est d'exposer les faits, c'est tout. Je n'accuse personne.
Well, guess what? That guy was found dead 6 days after this interview. So, there you have it. Let's keep on rocking. So check this one out. This is just one for the books. 87-year-old Chinese immigrant, I'm not even about to try to say the name, is fleeing San Francisco for China after getting assaulted multiple times. I mean, this shit is just crazy. Imagine leaving a communist country to come here to go back. I mean, California, man. All right, so this is more fossil fuel hate by them weirdos that are still talking to themselves. I don't even know why, but let's listen in.
I cannot think of a topic more urgent, actually, than the intersection of climate change and health. And I apologize that my back is to some folks. The climate crisis is a health crisis, fundamentally. And that actually means it is a crisis, therefore, also of our stability, our security, our economic growth, and our fundamental future as a globe. When we think about it, health is fundamental to everything that we are trying to do. A country like Zambia is now shutting down its schools because of a cholera outbreak that is from increased rainfall. Malaria is spreading in areas where it's been eradicated or removed in many of these countries. We are losing progress against our sustainable development goals. We have put billions of dollars towards those goals, and we're truly losing progress. We're now about to see the statistics of the deaths that we're seeing by 2050 is more than double what the statistics used to be. This is not a future problem, though. We always talk in future numbers. This is a problem happening here and now today. 2023 was an apocalyptic year in terms of extreme weather events and what we've seen happen. That is about to get worse.
I don't know where that was, but if somebody in the chat can please inform me, I would greatly appreciate it. Where were the apocalyptic, climactic occurrences in 2023? Thank you.
We are on a target now for 2.4 degrees Celsius. Optimistically, if we come out of COP and we hold it, we could stay a little bit lower. But we're really at a crisis, and it's going to come down to two things. We have to phase out fossil fuels, because this is a crisis of burning fossil fuels, and we have to mobilize more money, not only to the mitigation, but to the adaptation and the resilience so that we can offset what is happening and protect communities.
I hope you guys can catch the double speak that they love to use, because everything that they say is in that fashion. And that's how you know that they're lying. All they have to be doing is opening their mouths. I mean, imagine stating that you've wasted billions and billions and billions on this idea of climate change, and because of a little rain, apparently, that happens every year in that region, in that country. Because of a little rain, all those billions are gone away. So we must do more. We must save the world from itself. Imagine that. Their clock is short. All right, let's check out some high vibrating anecdotes.
Signs of a high vibration person. Number 1, they emanate warmth and positivity. Their energy instantly makes you feel good. Number 2, they focus on gratitude, not complaints. They see blessings everywhere. Number 3, they exude compassion for all people, even difficult ones. Number 4, they take time for inner reflection and spiritual growth. every day. Number 5, they speak encouragement and affirmation to others. Their words uplift. Number 6, they are givers, dedicated to making a difference in the world. Number 7, they live authentically, empowered from within. They know their worth. Number 8, they inspire those around them to be the best versions of themselves. When you make raising your vibration a priority, it impacts everything. You attract more joy, peace, and meaningful connections. Be the light. Spread more love. Keep shining bright. Drop a 100 if you agree with me. You may want to save this video for later and pass it to someone who needs it.
Well, there you go.
What do you see when you see weeds in the driveway? Let me show you what I see. Look down a weedy driveway. I actually see an apothecary or a medicine cabinet. Take dandelion, for instance. It's edible, highly nutritious, and has a slew of medicinal properties. It's a great detox herb. Every single part of the plant is edible and usable. So all in all, that's probably one of the best additions to your yard. Right next to that, we have plantain. This is broadleaf plantain. If you remember the term plantain for pain, this is a pain-relieving herb. It's edible. It can be eaten like spinach or raw in a salad. Highly nutritious, extremely good for your body. It's good for your digestion. It can help heal internal wounds. And, of course, it's a pain reliever. Just off the driveway, this is called sow thistle. This will have giant leaves or flowers just like a dandelion. And those thorns, when the plant is this small, those thorns aren't really very thorny. This plant is also super nutritious. It's a detox herb just like dandelion, and it shares many of the same properties. A little bit of wild violet. Wild violet is a medicinal plant. It's good for coughs. It's good for pain. It can be used internally or externally, made into a tea or a capsule. This plant can also help break a fever. It's been used for thousands of years medicinally, and it's actually a really good plant to have. Wild violet, we have another purple flower. There is Creeping Charlie. Creeping Charlie, also called ground ivy, is actually a member of the mint family. It is safe enough for young children and infants, strong enough for a full-grown man. It's really good for your digestion. It can be used for a wound healer. It can also help break a fever, and it's also highly nutritious. Close to our dandelion, we have chicory. Chicory is a great plant, very closely related to dandelion, though it has a purple flower and not a yellow one. Every part of this plant is also edible, and the root contains a compound called inulin, which your body absorbs just like insulin. Chicory also has the unique ability to be able to break the barrier in your brain that tells your brain you want more when people have addictions. They've actually used it for some pretty strong addiction-related illnesses. Further into the driveway, we have a plant that's called wintercress. Wintercress is popping up all over. It's one of the first edible plants that's available in the spring. The plant has a lot of medicinal properties. This is also a very good lung herb. It can help with pneumonia. It's antimicrobial. It's nutritious. And you can use it in many different ways. You can eat it raw. You can put it into a capsule, turn it into an extract, whatever works for you. Some burdock that's back in the back of the driveway. This plant is also highly nutritious. The leaves are very nutritious and edible. The root is very healing. It's anti-inflammatory. It's actually a main ingredient for a compound called Easiac, which is an anti-cancer compound. Really healthy. Next to that, we have what's called longleaf plantain, narrowleaf plantain. It is exactly like the other plantain I showed you, plantain for pain. It can be eaten the same way. It has all the same nutrients. All in all, this is a pretty good plant too. And then we have yellow dock or curly dock. It depends on what you want to call it. If the leaves are more curly, it's curly dock, but a dock is a dock. Here, dock, there, dock, everywhere, dock. Yellow dock root has inulin in it, just like dandelion and chicory. It can be absorbed in your body just like insulin. It's anti-inflammatory. They're highly nutritious. You could cook the roots just like you would your carrots. But not least, or what's going to be black-eyed Susans. These plants get very invasive at times. They are the large yellow and black flowers. They are closely related to echinacea. They have the ability to increase your T cell production. They are an immunomodulator. Every part of this plant is also edible and highly nutritious. So that's what I see when I walk down the driveway. Maybe later, let's take a walk in the yard and I'll show you the apothecary that's in the yard. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Have a good day.
I mean, I don't know if you guys realize it, but I realized it like last week. I don't know nothing about herbs, so I really gotta learn that shit.
All over the world, petrified trees are found standing up, connecting these rock layers.
Yeah, I pay attention to this.
Petrified tree connecting a bunch of layers can't be millions of years difference in the age of those layers. One in Cookeville, Tennessee, not far from here. The bottom is coalified, the center is petrified, the top is coalified again. Runs through two coal seams. I took the whole family over to Australia. My daughter and I got to go scuba diving at the Great Barrier Reef. It was incredible. Some of the reef was destroyed during World War II by ships and anchors and bombs and stuff like that. So the environmentalist wackos went out there to see how fast it grows back. They watched the reef grow for 20 years. After watching it grow for 20 years, they said the reef is less than 4,200 years old. Okay, well then I have a question. If the Earth is millions of years old, why don't we have a bigger reef someplace? Why on earth would the biggest reef be only 4,200 years old? When it rains, 30% of the water runs into the ocean, bringing with it mineral salts. The oceans are getting saltier every day. Today, they're 3.6% salt. They could have done that in less than 5,000 years. Question: why aren't the oceans saltier? Well, you see, 6,000 years ago, God made everything. 4,400 years ago, there's a flood. Now, since the flood's been over, the oceans have gradually gotten saltier. One atheist I debated said, Hovind, could you please tell me how the freshwater fish survived the flood? I said, sir, aren't you assuming the flood was salt water? He said, the ocean is salt water. I said, well, it is today, yeah. During the flood, it's probably mostly fresh water, and it's gradually gotten saltier, and today some animals have had to adapt to salt water. A friend of mine in Alabama raises fish. He said he took a freshwater fish, black mollies, slowly added salt to their aquarium. In 2 weeks, they became saltwater fish. When he put them back in freshwater, they died in 30 minutes. All you got to do is fly out west and look at the erosion patterns and say, man, this place was destroyed by a flood. I mean, the whole world was destroyed by a flood. Just fly around like I do and look out the window once in a while. The oldest languages in the world are kind of interesting. Origin of major writing systems from National Geographic. What do they say? Well, they say the oldest writing systems in the world started about 3000 BC. 5,000 years ago, oldest writing systems. And the oldest languages are modern, sophisticated, and complete. The Chinese said the year 2000 was the year 4700. They think they started their calendar with the flood. They called Noah Fuhai. The oldest recorded capital punishment, 3,800 years ago. The Hebrew calendar said the year 2000 was 5760. We know the Hebrew calendar is messed up because the rabbi purposely took some years out to make it not match the prophecy to fit Jesus. The Saxons had a genealogy going back to Adam. The Danes and Norwegians had a king list going back to Noah. Don't trust the Egyptian king list. That is greatly exaggerated. See the work by Corville on that and Evolution Cruncher. Why are the oldest reliable historical records less than 6,000 years old? Well, I have a theory about that. I bet you know what it is, don't you? Yeah. That Bible is absolutely right, folks. Absolutely correct, scientifically. The evidence for a young earth is overwhelming. The students aren't taught that. Students are only shown the evidence for an old earth. Remember the coins in the box? They better deal with the youngest ones, not the oldest ones. These books aren't really science books anymore. They're books about evolution.
Interesting stuff. Let's continue.
Minnesota, New York, and Massachusetts. A massive mistake that you need to know about. A massive mistake that you need to know about. 5 months ago, the U.S. Census Bureau came out and they admitted to miscounting the populations in 14 different states. Now, you might be asking yourself, why didn't the media cover this? Well, let's take a look at the states. The Census Bureau admitted to overcounting Hawaii, Delaware, Rhode Island, Minnesota, New York, and Massachusetts, while at the same time they admitted to undercounting Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, as well as Illinois. Isn't that interesting? All of the overcounted states voted blue in 2020, while 5 out of the 6 undercounted states voted red. And this has massive implications because the census determines how many seats in Congress a state gets, as well as how many electoral votes they get. Meaning that if this mistake wasn't made, it's entirely possible that states like Texas would have gained an extra seat, while states like New York would have lost an extra seat. However, despite the Bureau having officially admitted their mistake, well, there's nothing that can be done right now, short of a Supreme Court challenge. Do you think this was truly done by mistake? Leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more. A massive mistake that you need to know about.
So, as you guys probably know, that's not a mistake. All right, so let's check this out. It is not just intended to defraud. It is also felony murder, says John Bedouin Sr. Let's listen in.
1 in the left arm, 3 in the right, because it's not just the intent to defraud or uttering, which the old common law uttering. It's also felony murder. there's all the individuals I could talk about. Like Maya was 12 years old, cerebellar tonsillar and bilateral uncal herniation the next year. So a whole year later, she dies within the same month as her vaccine. And they gave her 1 in the left arm, 3 in the right arm. She got her 3rd dose of COVID in her left arm. And then she got meningococcal, HPV, and Tdap. She had 4 vaccines at once. She was dead in 26 days from a stroke. So now you have 4 women, 12 years old, 17 years old, 30, and 62 died from stroke. They're still not investigating. It's not willful ignorance. It's not anything benign like that. This is intentional withholding of information from the public that would save the lives of the public, because it's not just the intent to defraud or uttering, which the old common law uttering. It's also felony murder.
I hope that after you guys heard the rest of that clip, the rest of the 47 seconds, it's clear how it's felony murder. UK has a problem. Excess deaths are up a staggering 22% among 1 to 14-year-olds. 1 to 14-year-olds. Let's watch.
This is ages 1 through 14. In 2020, their excess deaths was minus 9%. In 2021, it was minus 7%. In 22, it went up to 16%. And in 2023, it's 22%. So it's
22% above baseline.
Above baseline. And what's interesting about this is the excess deaths of the UK children actually went down during 2020 and started to rise again in 2021. It's in my book. We showed the rise started when the magic juice started to be issued to children later in 21. What's interesting is, you have to ask yourself, well, why did it go down in 2020? What's the biggest cause of accidental death for children? It's accidental. It's accidental. It's usually movement activities, falling into a pool, drowning. Well, there were lockdowns, so excess deaths went down during lockdown for children because of less activity. But sure enough, we've reopened. There's no pandemic, but now in 2023, UK children 1 through 14 appear to be mysteriously dying at an excess death rate of 22%.
That's even higher than I thought. I don't know where
That's the UK. It's different in different countries. But
okay.
The UK has a problem.
Imagine that any kid 14 years or younger has a 22% chance of dying at this point in time. That's crazy. Like, wow. This should be funny.
Mr. Speaker, Walgreens is planning to close yet another pharmacy in the Massachusetts 7th, this time on Warren Street in Roxbury, a community that is 85% Black and Latino. This closure is a part of a larger trend of abandoning low-income communities like the previous closures in Mattapan and Hyde Park, both in the Massachusetts 7th. When a Walgreens leaves a neighborhood, they disrupt the entire community, and they take with them baby formula, diapers, asthma inhalers, life-saving medications, and of course, jobs. These closures are not arbitrary, and they are not innocent. They are life-threatening acts of racial and economic discrimination. That is why I joined with Senator Markey and Warren to demand answers from Walgreens CEO. Why was there no community input, no adequate notice to customers, and no transition resources to prevent gaps in healthcare? Shame on you, Walgreens. Having a website with talking points about health equity and underserved communities is not enough. Walgreens is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that needs to put their money where their mouth is and stop divesting from Black and brown communities.
Don't worry, I got the perfect follow-up for that nonsense.
Mr. Speaker, Walgreens.
Oh, this ain't it. Hold on. We got an order. We're gonna get y'all in order real quick, though. Real quick. I got 3 clips just about Massachusetts alone. Now, we just saw what these clowns are doing for the public arena to make a spectacle of them. Now look at what's actually happening in the state. Now this is yesterday. All right? Yesterday.
Need to be able to breathe clean air. Emotional, guys, okay?
Emotional, guys, okay?
I'm going to read this little caption down here. Outrage as Massachusetts Democratic governor, closes Cherish Sports Center in majority black Boston suburbs. And guess which suburbs this is? The Roxbury, for 4 months, aka forever, so it can be used to house migrants. Look at the role, the acting. Somebody get this lady an Oscar. Woo!
Emotional, guys, okay? Because I'm committed to this. Little kids need to be able to breathe clean air. They need to be able to access swimming pools. They need to have lifeguards there who are going to teach them how to swim. And they need to have activities. I don't know what we're going to do for a couple, 3 months. I'll call universities. I'll call other places.
The governor went on to say she is also looking at other locations, but has not said exactly where.
Emotional.
A governor does not recognize the fact that it's February. Crazy. Let's watch the one from today. Homeless man in Massachusetts lashes out at police guarding Roxbury Recreation Center after Governor Healey, first name Mara, shown here, shut it down to house illegal aliens. Let's listen in.
Live fucking here. And I've been here my whole fucking because I can yell. Because I can yell. Because I can yell. And I'm fucking angry. That's why. I hear you. I do hear you. So why can't I get in the fucking building? You can't get in right now. No one can get in. Why? Where's the mayor at? Y'all just fucking pound the fucking sham, yo. It's all about fucking money. It's a fucking money grab. Y'all give a fuck about the motherfuckers that was born and fucking raised here. Y'all raised the fucking rent so fucking high. Can't afford to live here, but y'all gonna bring some other motherfuckers here? That doesn't fucking add up. It doesn't make no fucking sense. None. None.
They're catching on.
I'm fucking homeless. I work a full-time job, 40 hours, and can't pay to live here. How the fuck are y'all gonna bring somebody else here? Don't make no fucking sense. None.
Now, if you've been following me for the past 4 years, 3 years, whatever it's been, you've heard me say this same exact fucking thing. A dude that is a fucking homeless man with a full-time job about to lose his shit on somebody one of these days here soon. And that's just the first clip, folks. There's more.
And I saw your outrage. Why are you outraged?
Because this place was, like you said, it's free. It was a place for our children. Our children, I have 4 children, and it's sad. You know, I have 4 boys, you know, and we really don't have nothing in the community that's free for us. Don't get me wrong. It's great that they want to help the immigrants, but what about the Americans that are already here? What about the people that are already here that don't have homes, that don't have jobs, that are sleeping on the street already? These people came from the airport here, probably on boats, probably on buses, and probably all for free. Now they're getting stipends. They're getting what else? I need money for me and my kids, and I was born here. Like, you know, I know life is a struggle in itself, but this is not the answer to help them. Now it's going to destroy our community more and mess our children up more. Like, this is sad. I know a lot of people don't even know about this. I came here last night with my aunt, saw a lot of stadies, a lot of police, and this paper wasn't there yet. They just did this probably 2, 3 in the morning when they brung them here. When everybody's asleep, that's when they brung them here probably. On buses, I saw New York plates. I saw Washington, D.C. plates. So they have that much money to come from Washington, D.C. to do this, to do that. Why are they not helping the people here first?
Yes, ma'am. Let's talk.
We need help.
Let's talk to one of the counselors.
Yes.
Aaron, Ms. Murphy, thanks so much for joining us. When you hear the passion right here from...
That's what I hear in my office all the time. And it is a balance. Like I was telling you earlier, the state owns this building, so the governor has to make a decision on where to put the overflow migrants. But at the same time, the community needs to make sure that that we keep their services in place.
Why would they declare Boston as a sanctuary city?
I mean, I think a lot of cities across this country once they declare themselves a sanctuary city, I'm not sure if they knew the amount of support we were going to need to give.
Was that, I know you're a Democrat, but do you think declaring cities as sanctuaries was a mistake in retrospect?
Looking back, if our communities end up losing the services they need to live full lives, I think we may be questioning that. We do have to find a balance to make sure that these migrant families have a safe place to go. But at the same time, my concern, I'm an elected official here. I represent the whole city, and I'm the chair of public health in the last 2 years in homelessness. And I've centered my advocacy and policy on making sure that every resident has the resources they need. And I'm hearing that seniors and kids, like Effie was just telling us, that her own family, right, might be disrupted. So I'm making sure that the city is stepping up and connecting with all the departments so that these displaced, residents who use this every day.
Let's bring Keisha back in here. Keisha, you hear that from your counselor. What do you want done right now?
Like she said, we want to help them, but at the same time, what about us that need help here? What about, I'm a mother and I have 4 children. They need help. They need somewhere to go. They need something to do.
What type of activities used to be in this building?
Skating ring, exercising, like a place where you can just go chill and stay out of trouble. Now we have to find other places.
What's going to be the consequence of this being changed and just to migrants? Where are those kids going to go right now?
Probably to the streets. To the streets. Where most of them are already at. Like when we look for help, it seems like the state and the governor and them people, they push us away. They want to turn our children to animals. They want our children to be bad and F up. Yeah. We want better for our community, but this right here is going to be a shit show and it's going to be crazy.
Thank you so much.
This is going to be crazy.
And I'm sorry about that, guys, but that's just the passion out here. People are upset because they don't feel like the people that are in power are representing them.
Yes.
We'll have a reaction here all morning. I'll send it.
Things are coming to a head. Let's check in on the last one. And this is all focused on the same location. Same exact place. All this activity. This is just one place. I can't cover every state.
Look inside the new temporary shelter, which will be a safe space for hundreds of families over the next few months. The Melnia Cass Rec Center.
A recreational center in Roxbury, now a temporary safety net site with beds, play areas, and other necessities for incoming migrant families that the governor and community leaders toured today.
We're here today because we really don't have a choice.
State and city leaders say they've all been moved by the plight of families, many now camping out at Logan Airport with no place to go, and a state shelter system stretched to the limit.
When children are asking, Mommy, where are we going tonight? Where are we going to sleep? It's a human crisis.
Shame on Healy! Shame on Will! But the plan has received mixed reviews in the community, since the recreation center is also a vital resource for youth and adult programs.
We sympathize with them. We as a people in our community, we love, but sometimes we love so much that we spite our own selves.
Alternating toe touches. Tony DeRoca with Boston United Track and Cross Country coaches young athletes in a free weekly program here, and now doesn't know where they'll go with a meet set for Sunday.
We have kids who also are impacted negatively, and our program is one that very few stable times of their life.
I've been going here for like
2 years now, and like it's been like a second home to me.
But the decision to make it a temporary home until May 31st for migrant families is called humanitarian, but also difficult by some. And Boston Mayor Michelle Wu acknowledged that today.
This is not the first time that this community has been asked to sacrifice over and over again. And so we'll continue to work with the state and ensure that all options are on the table.
Now, the governor says she hopes the community will be helped, not burdened by the plan, saying local vendors will be used to provide food and other necessities here, and funding will be provided for long-awaited upgrades to the Melnia Cass Recreational Center once the temporary shelter is closed. Reporting live from Roxbury, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News.
All right, Beth, thank you.
So they're going to pay off the local vendors so that they don't complain. And then on top of that, they're going to upgrade the existing facilities to house those people forever because they're not leaving. So now all these Democrats in these sanctuary cities are going to become Trumpsters hard fucking core. You bet your bottom fucking dollar on that shit. It's happening in real fucking time as these people are shat on by their own stupidity. It's glorious to see in real time. However, this is the cusp. As you guys can see, France is still popping off. And they scared because, you know, in these videos, we weren't seeing pigs before. Now we're seeing pigs. So shit's getting interesting out there. Not sure how that's going to finish. But, you know, it's everywhere in Europe at this point. Let's listen to this clown.
Says, sir, you dropped this. And he comes back, picks it up, and keeps walking out. As we're checking out, the woman says, oh, he's just walking out. He didn't pay for that. I said, well, why didn't you stop him? She goes, oh, the governor. Swear to God, true story. Oh, my mom's great. The governor lowered the threshold. There's no accountability. I said, that's just not true. And I said, we have the 10th toughest, $950, the 10th toughest in America. She doesn't even know what I was talking about. By the way, it's the 10th toughest in America. Look it up. No one gives a damn about that. And I said, it's just not true. There's still a stop. They said, well, we don't stop them because of the governor. And then she goes, she looks at me twice, and then she freaks out. She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, no, I'm not taking a photo. We're having a conversation. Where's your manager? How are you blaming the governor? And it was, $380 later. And I was like, why am I spending $380? Everyone can walk the hell right out.
Well, that's not fair. Not fair. Yeah.
It's my target. She triggered me. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. I know that Mayor Gloria and Mayor Breed are still logging on, so
Governor, ladies and gentlemen, of California. Incredible. And just prepare yourself for this. I wouldn't expect anything funny to come out of this. I haven't heard it, but just, prepare yourself.
Now, the final thing I have to share about this, and then we're going to be closing for the break, is the meaning of this. And this is a very mysterious symbol, which, you've heard all sorts of explanations for it, but I'm going to give you the Masonic Illuminati inner meaning of what this means tonight. And it's going to probably gross you out and astonish you, and I apologize in advance for that. But this is what it means. Crowley reveals the secret behind the all-seeing eye symbol in one of his books, the Book of Thoth, which is a very advanced manual on tarot card readings. And this is the eye of Lucifer. But believe it or not, it corresponds to a human organ that, for lack of a more delicate term, we'll call the rectum, which is kind of ironic when you think about it, that this represents Lucifer. And what this refers to is that the occult archaeometric doctrine of Masonry is that by accessing alternate universes through sodomy, especially of young boys, you can access alternate dimensions of reality through what are called the tunnels of Typhon. There is a belief that through this sexual perversion, they can access these tunnels into alternate universes, alternate realities. And the goal of this kind of magic is to find your own universe and become the god over that universe. This buys into the modern day physics theory that there's many, many dimensions of reality. Maybe you've read about that. Alternate universes. It shows up in science fiction a lot. And then once you're the god of this universe, you can start sucking the energy out of it. And you can use that energy through this child to live forever and ever and ever. And there are men, I have met several that claim to be hundreds of years old. Now, of course, are they lying their lips off? I frankly think they are. This is a deception. I mean, this is such a problem that we are actually, I now know of 5 national support groups that are helping people that are survivors of Masonic ritual abuse. This is that serious a problem. And let me tell you something else. The other 95, 96, 97 Masons have an even bigger problem, because the spiritual headship over their organization trickles back down to this monster. And because of that, even if they're good men, even if they don't know about this, you know what happens? They begin to struggle with profound temptations to move in this area of pedophilia and homosexuality. And this is dangerous stuff. I mean, this is spreading throughout the world like a plague. We have organizations like NAMBLA, the National Association of Man-Boy Love, which their slogan is sex before 8 or it's too late. And they're trying to lower the age of consent to 8 years old. And all of this can be laid at the... If you're a Mason and you're in an organization with this kind of spiritual headship, this is all around you and you don't even know it. It's like a fish swimming in polluted water that's full of spiritual sewage. And you can't help but take this into yourself. But it's important to understand that in all of this, that I myself, as a normal, red-blooded heterosexual, was finding myself continually drawn into sexual thoughts and sexual fantasies about little boys. I thank God I never acted on any of that. But it was being forced on me because I was under the umbrella of the Masonic leadership. And it is really a very tragic thing, but it is very real, this kind of headship. He had so many Masonic degrees that you could fill up 5 pages of a book with them. This guy was probably the most highly honored Mason in the world. And he was also the most dangerous man of the 20th century. And he began doing rituals to bring forth this crowned and conquering child. And he began to start what he called the cult of the fascinating child. And in doing this, he uncovered, without knowing it, the royal secret of Masonry. And what happened was, a gentleman came knocking at his door after he published a book. And in this book, it was a book of poetry. And in the book, he had made an allusion to something. And this guy, his name was Theodore Royce. And this Theodore Royce told Crowley that he had given away the greatest secret in occult history. And Crowley said, "What do you mean? I don't even understand it." So the guy promptly initiated him on the spot to the 9th degree of the OTO and then explained the secret to him. The secret is that as a Mason, you are promised immortality. If you go to a Masonic funeral, you will hear them discuss the immortality issue. You will hear them promise that they will go to the celestial lodge above and live there forever. Where do they get their promise of immortality? Simply, the secret that Crowley uncovered, probably through demonic intervention, is the secret that this immortality is conveyed through tantric sex magic. And the kind of sex magic that we're talking about here, unfortunately, is a sexual violation of a little child. Crowley taught that the way you could live forever was by vampirizing little children sexually. And he personally bragged of having slaughtered 150 male children in 1 year. This is why he was called the wickedest man in the world. And this, I apologize that this is so horrible, but Masons are doing this.
Well, I think we have nothing but overwhelming evidence to support this reality. Now, this individual, I'm sure you guys probably know him by now. Let's listen to what this doctor has to say. He's probably one of the few that has been telling the truth the whole time.
There's more and more evidence, as we mentioned earlier, coming out that it certainly sounds like he lied under oath. And Rand Paul promises to go after him. Will it affect anything that he is stepping down? Is this a way to try and protect himself, or do you think we'll actually see any action on holding him accountable? I mean, if nothing else, for lying.
Yeah, I think he'll be held accountable. And the midterm elections will mean a lot. If the Republicans come into power in the House, they'll start to have real strong subpoena power, investigation power. Senator Ron Johnson's posted over 40 senatorial letters, which are basically placeholders for investigations. And I think the FDA commissioner is in deep trouble. NIH division director is in deep trouble. CDC director, they're going to have nowhere to hide. The publications make it clear it was a government operation that created SARS-CoV-2 and the spike protein. It's the U.S. government that did it. And they were working on the threat and working on the response, which was various forms of antigens to be injected or monoclonal antibodies. But it's clear it's a U.S. government operation. The work was done in China, and there was Chinese collaboration. Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel, he was the CEO of BioMérieux, and he built the Wuhan Biosecurity Lab with the Chinese when he was leading the French company. He built that lab. Then he leaves in 2015 and he joins Moderna. And then Moderna co-writes the patent with the National Institutes of Health. You probably heard recently Moderna's suing Pfizer over the patent.
I was just going to ask you about that.
People ask my opinion. Yeah, Christy, people ask my opinion. I said, yes, this will all come to light. It takes a long time to write a patent, and pass a patent prosecution takes a long time. Moderna and the U.S. government wrote the patent on the product a long time ago. And we knew this because when the crisis was announced in the United States, 3 days later, Moderna announces they have a product.
Yeah, I have that documentation, the patents and all that. It's all public information, so you can look it up.
Committee at Harvard, and the committee invented brain death. The committee did not do studies on dogs or cats or rats. They didn't collect data on human beings. They just invented brain death. And they had no patient data, they had no basic science studies. And I know it's really awful when you know about it. And it doesn't get better. It keeps getting worse after that. Then a lot of people think that brain death means flat brain waves. They're not even required to do brainwave testing. The way they did that, they studied 9 patients, and 2 of the 9 still had brainwave activity. And then they concluded no longer is it necessary to look at brainwaves. So it's not required to look for brainwave activity.
So when they're doing the transplantation on people they say are brain dead, they're never going to, they're all alive and completely recoverable.
They're all alive. You cannot.
So they're harvesting organs out of people who are in some way conscious. They just can't communicate.
It's one thing not to demonstrate consciousness, and then we use words like unconscious. But unconscious does not mean that there's no consciousness. It just means that we do not observe consciousness, and there's a difference. So
it's like subjective.
Right, and
observation.
whether a person shows consciousness or not does not indicate whether they're alive or dead.
Gotcha.
The pain is one of those things that's real, and we should pay attention to it. But pain is the way that the body knows that something's wrong, and it's the way that healing is. Just because a person can't demonstrate pain doesn't mean they don't have pain. You know, a very good example of that is they give paralyzing agents when they take the organs, so that they don't move and they don't squirm.
So horrible.
And even if they don't move and don't squirm, when they cut on them, their heart rate goes up and their blood pressure goes up, and which is the response to pain. But they can't demonstrate that they have pain
Because they're paralyzed. They've medically paralyzed them.
Yeah.
So they can't respond by.
Right.
Oh, that's horrible. Horrible, horrible.
And it gets really bad if you pay attention to it. So in any event, they invented brain death mainly to get organs, but then also so they don't waste money on treating people who aren't ever going to get a job, who are just going to live and not die. And so see what brain death is. It's primarily a way to get organs, and the way that brain death works is that they get the clergy and the people in pastoral care and to get involved, and then in organ transplants they have a designated requester, and a designated requester is usually a very nice person who dresses nice and befriends the relatives. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Oh, I know this has to be terrible on you. We'll do everything we can to help you. And all of that is part of getting them indoctrinated to get their organs. And
I need to go take a shower.
see, and you cannot get any organs from a cadaver. Every organ that's transplanted is a healthy organ, and you can only get healthy organs from living persons. You cannot get any organs for transplant from a cadaver.
So you don't put it on your license.
And the things I'm telling you is that you are not allowed to hear, and because if you hear it, you will be upset, as all three of you are upset, and rightly so. You should be upset because whose organs do they want? They want the organs from certainly from all children, but especially the people who are 16 to 30, and their life is in jeopardy. If they're unconscious and on a ventilator, they're going to get their organs, and they do everything to get their organs. And once the organs are taken, you can't bring them back to life. And so that what they do is they tell the relatives, well, you know, your daughter Sally would really like to do something good, and this is a way to make something good out of this tragedy, and or your son. And while they have been getting organs from accidents and gunshot wounds, they now get more organs from overdose of drugs than they do from accidents and gunshot wounds combined. There are 8 deaths a day from overdose in Ohio, and they get their organs is what they want. And so what are they doing? They're giving the policemen the Narcan to counteract the drug, which gets them into the emergency room, but it doesn't save their life. It gets them in the emergency room, and they still get their organs. And so
It's so diabolically disgusting.
oh, it really is. See, it's so bad.
Well, there you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. Yeah. More cures for cancer.
Good job. Thank you. The words cure and cancer don't often go together, but a single injection of a berry found only in Australia's far north is now thought to cure many types of cancer. It's being tested on animals at death's door and now on humans, making tumours disappear in just 48 hours.
In the depths of the Queensland rainforest grows a small seed with huge potential.
This is an extraordinary drug. It's a unique drug, and it really is something quite different.
Derived only from Australia's blushwood tree, EBC46 is a molecule that can fight cancer.
a full tumour destruction within 7 days.
Following astonishing results shrinking solid tumours in animals like Oscar, world-first human trials have now begun. For melanoma sufferer Denise Powell, joining the trial was a chance to avoid amputation.
My cancer surgeon said, I can take that one out. If you get any more, then you might lose an arm.
Instead of more surgery, EBC-46 was injected directly into the tumour in Denise's armpit.
Less than 20 minutes, the tumour had gone purple, then black. Then within a couple of days, the tumour just kind of shriveled up and died.
This first stage trial is using safe, low doses, but even early results look promising.
Surgery treats most tumours, about 60% of them worldwide, and to do that you need an operating theatre. But with EBC-46 you could go along anywhere.
When injected, EBC-46 triggers an immune response, activating white blood cells to attack the tumour and shrinking it to nothing. So far, the treatment targets solid tumours such as melanomas and cancers of the head, neck and breast cancer. If this rainforest remedy is found to be safe and effective in humans, it could offer a whole new treatment option for cancer patients, especially the elderly, who can't...
Imagine if she just ate the berries. Here's France lighting it up. This is somewhere else. Farmers going at it. They're burning huge piles of tires on the streets now. So it's getting lit up out there. Yeah. So this is a lady asking a crowd of people in BC, Canada, to raise their hands if...
How many people here, and I'm gonna ask you to do something, you have to think on this one. If you know one person, then you just put one hand up. If you know more than one, put two hands up. Keep them up. We need to send a very clear message to Bonnie Henry. Thank you.
I mean, it's staggering to me that we've come so far off the trail that logic and reasoning is no longer applicable. And it's literally just whatever you say or he say or she say goes. I mean, it's crazy. This is more info on the setup.
All over on the other side of the border and on our side of the border. And we find them with the folks that we pull over and stop that have come into this country illegally. So once again, I'm here to remind you that the information that the mainstream media feeds you is what's false.
You can see right here. So, this right here. This is the IOM. That's Spanish. The OIM is what it says on his vest. That's Spanish for the IOM, the International Organization of Migration. That's the migration arm of the United Nations. You can see here that he was kind of trying to turn away. He didn't really want to be in the camera. Tienes que preguntar primero antes de grabar a las personas, por favor. Repite. Hazme. Oh, permisión. So that's what's going on. He's from the OIM. That's the United Nations out here giving all sorts of aid. It is clear that the intent of these organizations is to direct the masses of illegal aliens to the United States. Consider this map, which shows the route from Colombia to the United States and marks 12 U.S. border crossing points with flags. Many similar maps are distributed by other organizations. This map, distributed by the Red Cross, shows the route from Panama to the United States in painstaking detail. On the back of the map, illegal aliens are encouraged to ride on top of freight trains to reach the United States border. The next stop along the route is the city of Pasto. It was here that we discovered a secret staging point for Chinese illegal aliens headed to the United States. So right now we are in Colombia at the Cabañas Rio Mayo Hotel. And this hotel that we stumbled upon by accident is a major hub, a major transit point, meeting place for Chinese foreign nationals that are on their way to the United States. And last night when we were here, we were eating at this hotel restaurant, and we were the only foreigners that were not Chinese. I mean, literally the entire hotel is just Chinese foreigners. We spoke with the hotel staff here, and they confirmed that. And while there are some women and children, it's mostly military-aged males. There's some right behind me right now, actually. One thing to note is that among all of the foreign nationals that are entering the United States illegally, the Chinese are among the most well-funded and the most sophisticated in the way they go about getting to the United States. They're the ones that are taking planes. We're right across the street from an airport right now, and they also have established networks. And this hotel that we're at is proof of that. It's all Chinese, and for some reason they all know to come here. It's because they are in direct communication. People that are further up the trail or that have made it to the United States are telling people that are on their way, hey, this is a hotel that's safe for you. You can see a lot of the writings, a lot of the signs in this hotel are written in Chinese. Again, this is further proof that it's not by accident. It's not just some sort of one-off occasion that there's all of these Chinese nationals here at this point. That is, there are definitively Chinese spies in the United States. Are the Chinese police in the United States?
Yeah. 便衣警察。
Well, nothing we didn't know already, but there you go. Another angle. Well, that's it, folks. That's all she wrote for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, remember, all of this supplemental information is critical in terms of understanding why crypto matters. As you can see, there's many charades being played in people's faces. So the question becomes, what do we do with all of this information? And that's for you to decide. Figure out what's true, figure out what's false, or make it good and make it right. Because only you know what's right. Peace, guys.
Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. That's it. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody. My God.